Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Roosevelt Field for tonight's home opener. The Noristown Eagles, their 1999 football team, will be facing the Wissahickon Trojans, an 0-2 team this year, a team that has really struggled as of past years. My name is Greg Fry, and I'm joined by Neil Schaefer tonight. An interesting opener for the Eagles.
Yes, indeed. They're ranked 6th in the state of Pennsylvania, and they're going up against a Wissahickon squad that's only won one of their last 13 games. So as the Eagles come out of the tunnel here, it's going to be an interesting game for the blue and white.
Well, Noristown, of course, coming off of that great year last year, only losing 2 games, and both of them coming to the of Central Bucks West, who were the state champions for the second time, looking for their 3rd state championship this year. Noristown, of course, changing leagues, and this is their first game in the Suburban 1 American League. They're starting out with the Wissahickon Trojans, maybe the team that's supposed to be the worst team in this division.
That's right, but the winner tonight will have exclusive bragging rights, as these two teams have never met in action before.
So, now we have a little bit of time as the teams are coming out of the locker room. Going to announce the starters for you as you will hear them in the background. I will announce them for you right here. For Noristown, of course, the quarterback this year is Audley Stewart, number 5, and he has some big shoes to fill. Chris Blake, such a great quarterback last year, set some school passing records, also did a very nice job of keeping this offense composed. Then, of course, we had Hurricane Floyd sweep through on Thursday, and Hurricane Troy on Friday. Troy Swittenberg, the all-state run, who everybody knows about, Division I, of course, looking at him. Look for him tonight to be a key factor in this game. The 2 receivers for Noristown are Ernie Terrell and James Edmonds. The tight end is Trey Hadrick. The fullback is Lou Samba, and that going across that line, Jim Davis, Matt DePiro, his brother Jim DePiro, Kirk Berry, and Jameel Butler. The defense for Noristown on the line, of course, they play that 5-2 defense. Terry Powell, Jim Davis, Chris Durant, James Stewart, and Kirk Berry, the 2 who are so key in that defense, Jameel Butler and Lou Samba. Jameel Butler taking over for Troy Ellis, who really was the captain of this team last year and did such a great job at linebacker. And, of course, the cornerbacks, Stewart and Swittenberg, 2 very athletic cornerbacks, and 2 very, very tall safeties in the back in James Edmonds and Trey Hadrick. We will now run down the Wissahickon offense and defense. Their quarterback is Satan Bakhta. He is one of their captains. Their other 2 captains are John Brosnan and Walt Thompson. Brosnan is a running back along with Aiden in the backfield. Walt Thompson and Sharif Queenan are the wide receivers, and the linemen, Steve Newman, Rick Smith, Tom Beal, Jermaine Thompson, and Eric Payne. The line on defense for Wissahickon, Steve Newman, Doran Grebe, Ted Brown, and Billy Stout. 3 linebackers, Brosnan, Black, and Zach Rowe, number 5. And the secondary, Walt Thompson, Chris Stout, Sharif Queenan, and Eric Malhorn. So Noristown's defense, being announced right now. They're a pretty nice crowd coming out right now, and more people seem to be filing in for his home opener.
Yeah, it's a beautiful night here at Roosevelt Field, and we're just getting over all the rain from Hurricane Floyd. And hopefully Hurricane Troy will take over right where Floyd left off. The field looks in pretty good condition. We talked to the Roosevelt staff earlier this morning. They said it's fine, we're ready to play, and the field looks green, and after the drought this summer, you wouldn't know it at all.
Like Neil said, this field really in great shape. Has affected most of the teams this year at Noristown High School.
That's true. Most of the teams are confined to one single field, except for the cross-country team, who runs all over the planet.
So we're getting ready for action right here. Noristown is 1-0 this year, a 39-0 victory over Westchester Henderson. Wissahickon is 0-2. They lost to Penwood 26-24, and their first league game they lost to Methacton. So Wissahickon 0-1 in Noristown, their first game. What do you try to do in your first league game? This is their first game in this league. What do you try to do to establish yourself tonight?
Well, the Eagles had a week off last week, so they're going to be tested right out of the chute because they've been laid off for so long. However, Wissahickon had a game just 4 days ago, and they're fresh, although they lost to Methacton. So for the Eagles, I think you want to establish yourself in this league, and plus you're already sitting in the state and you haven't even played a league game, so you have a lot of pressure put on you. But I think Roger Grove and his entire coaching staff have ascended to that level, and they're going to take care of their players today, and the Eagles look to be a strong contender in the district.
And of course, ahead of Norristown in those state rankings, number 5, North Penn, who is a very strong team this year once again. And of course, number 1, the Bucks.
I'll tell you what, it's really tough to have 3 local teams like that in the top 6 in the state. It's a real tribute to the Suburban 1 League. I believe that the Suburban 1 League is one of the most competitive leagues in all of the state of Pennsylvania.
Many people saying that Troy Swittenberg is one of the best running backs in the state, and of course, some pretty good running backs at both those schools, and number 2, High Key Johnson playing for North Penn, and number 33, the beast from Central Bucks West, Dustin Picciotti.
Greg, you're the Chris Berman of Noristown with all these nicknames.
Oh, I know I am. Of course, I'm fired up for tonight because it is the home opener.
Beautiful night here at Roosevelt as the captains assemble at the center of the field. Looking for the coin toss here.
Norristown going to try and use their speed this year. Not a real big team, but they do have some real good quickness and a lot of good athletes at the skill positions.
I definitely wouldn't want to go up against Troy Swittenberg or Jim Edmonds or any of those guys because they're just heck of nice guys and heck of great athletes. And I'll tell you what, Swittenberg can break open any hole, and Edmonds has got such leaping ability and he's got such good hands. He plays basketball in the winter for Coach McGee, and he really shows his athletic skill out there on the court as well as this football field.
And of course, the quarterback for Norristown this year is number 5, Audley Stewart. Stewart is also a threat, not just passing the ball, but running the ball. In a game last year against Ben Salem, in which Troy Swittenberg was injured, Audley Stewart ripped off 200 yards against that Ben Salem team. So look for Audley Stewart to be a 2-threat weapon.
Yeah, he's like Randall Cunningham. You never can count him out of the play, even if he has an receiver. You know, you better not give him any opening because he's going to take it.
So of course, this Norristown team looking to go one step further, looking to increase on their District 1 final appearance from last year. It would be great to see them win a title, but maybe the expectations a little bit lower, but this team thinks that they can make it even farther than last year's team.
Yeah, they definitely have a lot of confidence. Walking through the hallways are just, oozing with confidence, and that's a good thing. It's not bad to have all that confidence. If you didn't have the manpower and the team to back it up, yeah, it would be out of hand, but they definitely have it.
So, kicking off for Norristown will be number 14, Matt Spicko, and back for Wissahickon, number 34, John Brosnan, and the 2 danger men back there, number 3, Sharif Queenan, and number 2, Walt Thompson.
I'll tell you what, Greg, Matt Spicko is a great guy. He's a 2-sport athlete, could be a 3-sport athlete here in the fall. He plays soccer, football team, and I'm sure he could run for the cross-country team as well.
So we're getting ready here, a little bit of a drum roll. Getting ready to start the 1999 season. And we are underway. Here we go. Kick is to the sidelines. Thompson will pick it up at about the 15-yard line. He'll run straight out of bounds to the 19. Not really risking any injury here in the first 3 seconds of the game.
No, I don't know if he was intimidated by Terry Power or not, but he ran right out of the playing field there. Set up 1st and 10 for Wissahickon.
Well, hopefully not a sign for football fans, but a good sign for Norristown. Wissahickon will take the ball at their own 19-yard line. They'll go up against this Norristown defense, which hasn't let up any points in their first 2 games this year.
That's right. Norristown in the solid blue uniforms. Wissahickon with the white tops, blue pants, defending the right end of the screen.
Bakta under center on 1st down. He's passed. Pass is deflected, intercepted. Trey Hadrick. It will go to the end zone for a touchdown. Easy 6 right there. 13 seconds in, Norristown up 6-0.
Well, I hope this is a sign of things to come because we haven't even gone through 20 ticks on the clock and already we're up 6-0, hopefully going for 7 with Matty Spitko coming out to the field.
Well, that's what you get for being aggressive on your first play, coming back and passing.
That's right. We were talking to some of the officials right next to us here, scorekeeper and a timekeeper, and he was talking about lobbing those passes up, and that's exactly what he did there. He just lobbed the pass up, and Trey Hadrick came in and picked him off, and 6 points right on the board for Norristown.
Norristown doing exactly what they wanted to do, come out and be aggressive tonight.
Looks like we're going to have a timeout. Timeout for Norristown.
Some early season special teams problems for Norristown. This is stuff that they will have to get corrected when they go up against some of the tougher teams in this league. But Wissahickon, a good team to start out and, you know, fix mistakes and make sure you can get them out of the way.
I think Coach Miller over there on the sideline is shaking his head going, did that just happen or what? And it definitely did. Tim Miller's going to have to do some adjustments there so that his quarterback doesn't throw another one of those easy picks. Wonder what the timeout here is about. Matty Spitko is on the field ready for his PAT, and the Eagles come running out of a mini huddle, going for point number 7 here in their home opener at Roosevelt Field.
The holder for Spitko is number 13, Ryan Blake, taking the number over from his brother, number 13, Chris Blake, from last year. Snap, the hold is down, the kick is up. It is good, and we have a 7-0 lead for Noristown. 13 seconds into the game. What can you say?
I don't know, Greg. My first football game in 9 years as a commentator, and in the first 13 seconds, the score is already 7-0.
Well, that'll get the fans here at Roosevelt Field excited. That Wissahickon sideline's got to be going, oh boy, this is a long night.
There was a flag on the play. It looks like there was roughing a kicker against Wissahickon. However, Noristown will take the point, and it will be 7-0, and it'll be, I guess, assessed on the kickoff, Greg.
Now, Neil, what are the chances that Wissahickon comes out running the ball the first play of this drive?
Well, I don't know. I'm not a head coach or anything, but if I were Tim Miller, I'd keep the ball on the ground for a while and give your quarterback just a bit of confidence, getting it maybe even a first down for Wissahickon. The Trojans not looking good out of the gate.
Bakta is a senior. He's 6'1", 205. Pretty big guy back there standing in the pocket. However, picked off on that play.
Boy, the cheerleaders are throwing better than the quarterback did on that one. They're getting passes complete. Norristown cheerleaders should put on a uniform and play for the Trojans.
So now the penalty on the kickoff. Matt Spitko will be kicking from the Wissahickon 45. He may put this.
I was going to say, he had a 35-yard kickoff to start the game. He could put it right at the end zone.
He may put this thing through Roosevelt tonight.
Wissahickon could have a problem here.
Norristown looking to trap Wissahickon. Put a little bit more pressure on them. Kick is up. It's back to about the 1-yard line. Collected back there by Thompson. The 15 and no more. A great tackle right there by 25, Terry Powell. Wissahickon will start from their own 15.
That's right, and here we go again, Greg. The Wissahickon Trojans are going to try to put some offense on the board. It only took one play last time, and it was picked off, and now the guys in blue and white will try to push the ball forward.
This Norristown defense very hungry this year. They want to make a statement, make it a little bit easier for their offense to put some points on the board. They want to try and force some turnovers. Did a great job right. So now Wissahickon trying to recover from that early turnover. Bakta under center. He will hand the ball off. Nothing doing. He went to number 36, Andy Black. That's not going to happen right there, folks. Well, maybe lost one on the play.
He did exactly what you said, though, Greg. He stayed on the ground, and that's probably a confidence builder for him. At least he got a play in the books without an interception. As the clock continues to tick, and we're only 11:25 left in the first quarter, Eagles are looking pretty good. They look like a number 6 state team.
So -1 on the play, 2nd and 11. 2 wide receivers for Wissahickon, backs in the eye. Bakta the handoff to the tailback, 34. That's John Brosnan. He doesn't get much yardage, but at least moving the ball forward. Still a negative yardage, though, on their offense.
I'll tell you what, that's a real disheartening experience when you start with the ball twice in the first quarter, first 3 minutes of play, and you're not getting anywhere with the Eagle defense swarming all over you. Pick up a 4 there.
Well, Wissahickon, not exactly a team that's going to kill you with many threats, and being down 7-0 at Roosevelt Field, you're going to need threats to try and get back into the game. 3rd and 7 for Wissahickon. Norristown coming on the blitz. Bakta drops back the pass, almost picked off again. Great diving play right there. Terry Powell, who we have scheduled as a lineman, dropping back into coverage.
It was intended for number 2, Walt Thompson, a 5'9" for Wissahickon. The ball went awry there, and it'll bring up a 4th down for the Trojans.
And the punter for Wissahickon is number 9, Chris Stout. He will handle the punting and kicking duties tonight. Back for Norristown, 2 men back deep. number 17, James Edmonds, and how about that, the quarterback, number 5, Audley Stewart.
Well, we talked about it before. Audley Stewart has a lot of weapons in his arsenal. He's not just a quarterback, but he also has a lot of speed. You remember last year he played a little bit of running back when Chris Blake had the quarterback role. If you are a fan of winter sports, you saw him on the basketball court playing a lot of time for the Noristown Eagle basketball team.
We're going to have a flag on the play. We're going to have a roughing the kicker. Noristown rushing real well to get there. Unfortunately, got there a little bit too late and roughed the kicker, so Wissahickon will have a first down coming out.
That's a costly mistake. You look at where the ball is right now, it would be on the 47-yard line for Noristown. Instead, it's going to be roughing the kicker, and you're going to bring it back and give Wissahickon an opportunity for more offense. And that's a real shame, and I'm sure Coach Grove isn't too happy about it. Neither is the rest of his coaching staff. I see Jack Griffiths down there shaking his head, not knowing what's going on.
That's one time where aggression kills you. Sometimes you just have to sit back and say, we're going to get the ball close to their side of the field. Sometimes you just got to say, okay, kick the ball, we'll let it bounce, we'll take it at the 50 and go.
Yeah, I didn't quite see who went for the rush there, but that might be a little bit of inexperience. You know, when you watch professional games or college games, you see guys rushing hard. Can't make it, they totally back off or throw themselves to the side.
So Wissahickon starting from the 32-yard line. Second chance here. 2 wide receivers to the right of Bach. That backs in the eye once again. Back to pass on first down. Who's going deep? Both men going after the ball there. Audley Stewart and appeared to be Walt
Thompson.
Queenan.
No, it's Walt Thompson, I believe.
Yeah,
Walt
I believe
Thompson,
you're right.
his favorite target tonight. He went for him twice so far, and he hasn't connected once. And probably went for him. And he's put in the backfield. Number 7, Bachta there, sacked in the backfield, and another loss for Wissahickon, and I'm sure this will be repeated again and again. He just didn't seem to have any scrambling power there.
On that little delay, it looked like he might have given the ball up, but fooling nobody on that Noristown line. Everybody attacking him right there.
He fooled us up here, though. It looked like John Brosnan had the ball, but instead Bachta kept it, and he was sacked in the backfield. Bring up a 3rd and 16 for the Trojans.
Noristown and 16. Special teams coaches have got to be saying, don't touch the kicker.
Yeah, as Audley Stewart and Jim Edmonds go back once more. I don't know if I'd even go that far right now. That first kick fell easily 10 yards in front of those 2 gentlemen. I think I'd move it up more towards the 50-yard line. Kicker doesn't look like he has a foot on him, especially like that.
Stout looking to do something with it. He's going to throw. It's incomplete. Curious to open up with your first night game at Roosevelt Field.
No, it's definitely a confident booster for Coach Grove and his entire team. When in the first 5 minutes you already have 7 points on the board and you're going for even more as Audley Stewart rolls off to the right.
The throw through the hands of number 8. That was Brian Gordon in on the play. Just through his hands. Nice bootleg there from Noristown. We'll go to 2nd and 10.
Brian Gordon, a 5'9" senior, needed a couple more inches to make that pass. 65-pound senior looked like he had some feet underneath him as he went and tackled Troy Swittenberg from behind.
So we'll go to 3rd and call it 11 on the play. So Noristown stalling on offense here. Defense looks pretty good.
That's right, but I have faith in the Eagle offense. It looks like Audley Stewart just getting his feet wet here on the Roosevelt grass.
Stewart back to pass, and he tries to fall. Not what you want to do. Maybe a fumble? No, they're going to call that incomplete. It looked like it was a forward pass, and that's what it's going to be called. So 4th down.
No, it's going to be Wissahickon ball. It looked like a shovel pass, and I think it was underarm lateral there. And unfortunately, it'll be Wissahickon ball as number 50, Jameel Butler, isn't too happy with that as he dukes it out with number 34, John Brosnan.
I saw a referee on the other sideline waving his arm like it was an incomplete pass to ride them a turnover.
Yes, indeed. Brosnan carries it up the middle there for a gain of 4. It'll be 2nd and 6 for the Trojans.
Brosnan heading out wide, 3 receivers for Wissahickon on this play. Bachta back to pass, Three-step drop, and he is mugged in the backfield by number 55. That is James Stewart. That's a pretty big man coming at him right there.
That's right, and Jim Davis, number 57, helped out. I'll tell you what, the coverage there for Noristown was excellent. I'll tell you, their four back men were Jim Edmonds, Audley Stewart, Trey Hadrick, and Troy Swittenberg. And those four are going to be tough to defend or to offend against.
I have to tell you, it looks like that Noristown defensive line really dominating against that Wissahickon O-line.
Yeah, they just bowled him right over and were in Bachta's face before he could spell Noristown.
Guess they heard me say that they're going to use their quickness, not their size this year. 3rd and 6. Bachta, quick drop. He'll go over the middle. Interesting little play right there, looking for number 5, Zach Rowe. He's a tight end, and it'll be 4th and 6. Once again, Wissahickon punting the ball away.
Bachta needs just a little bit more on his passes there. He was leading his receiver just a little bit, but he didn't have enough. It could have been 2 or 3 more yards, and it would have been a catch. So far, Bachta's 0 for 4. Not a good percentage for the Wissahickon quarterback.
That was the unconventional one-step drop right there for Bachta.
Yeah, I mean, he barely got out from underneath the center, and he was throwing the ball.
So 4th down, Stout back on the field to punt once again. Stewart and Edmonds back. Once again, a bad snap. Stout will have to do everything he can to get rid of it. A very short punt. Gets a good Wissahickon bounce. But Noristown starting from their 47-yard line. The 45 on. That part of the field hasn't been used. That grass is really fresh tonight.
That's right. The maintenance crew here at Roosevelt will be happy about that. They're preserving the one end of the field for a future game. That was about a 15 or 17-yard punt. So really, Stout doesn't have much of a leg there. I think Noristown can move up their deep back or deep men and maybe get some run backs here.
So in a game against the team that has won one game in about their last 20, you're looking for kind of get ahead here, and Coach Grove really wanting his team to be productive on offense. 2 receivers, Edmonds and Terrell. Stewart back to pass, 3-step drop. He'll try to hit Edmonds, just overthrew him. Stewart having some early jitters here in the first quarter.
Oh yeah, he's 0 for 2 so far in the game. And like we said, it is early game jitters. You're in your first game here in front of the home crowd as a full-time quarterback. You know, look at the pros, even the pros like Doug Peterson when he plays for the Eagles. He had his first game jitters there, and I'm sure Audley Stewart, as soon as he gets his feet wet, no pun intended, of course, he'll start completing the passes. He's got some great receivers out there.
Backs in the eye once again. The pitch to Swittenberg. He will beat the man to the outside, cuts it up the field. He's close to a first down there. Good run from Troy Swittenberg, keeping the legs moving, and that's what we're accustomed to seeing right there.
A good second effort there. Reminded me of Barry Sanders, where he never gives up, pushing and pushing. Emmett Smith is another person who just doesn't give up. He doesn't let the first guy tackle him. He keeps pushing and pushing, and that's the way a good running back gets those extra yards.
Noristown threw the ball a lot last year with Ernie Terrell and Damian Solomon, who graduated last year. But the basis of the offense still was Troy Swittenberg, and he was the one that opened up the passing game for Noristown. He's going to have to do that once again this year. Gain of 9 on the play on his second rush of the night. So 3rd and 1 for Noristown on the 44 of Wissahickon. Go with that power formation.
Fumble on the Eagles. I think the Eagles will keep the ball.
They might have fumbled forward for a first down. Well, I don't think that was in the playbook, but
it worked because it is a first down as the referee signals a first down there. Yeah, I think that was a blown play, but it worked out the best for the Eagles. You were saying before that Swittenberg was the key to the offense. I know that our public address announcer, Phil Giovinco, where he used that name again and again and again. It almost became part of his vernacular. Swittenberg this, Swittenberg that, Swittenberg everything. And Jim Edmonds also another key to the offense for the Eagles.
That's the one thing about this Noristown team. They do have a lot of horses on this team who really can go 4 quarters and give it all they have for all 4 of them. Stewart back to pass once again. Out to number 7. That's Lou Samba, and Samba drops the ball. He had about 10 yards of running room. He might have looked forward before he looked back for that ball.
Yeah, he had a wide open gain all the way to, and probably could have rambled for about 35 yards through the Wissahickon defense. Unfortunately, you have to catch the ball before you can run with the ball.
So Stewart 0 for 3 tonight, and I would say Probably 2 of them, not his fault.
Yeah, he could easily be 2 for 3 and throwing a 67% percentage, but Lou Samba there, his latest tragedy.
Second and 10 for Noristown. Stewart back to pass once again. They cover that play. He goes deep. Overthrown. Good coverage there by number 2, Walt Thompson. It's a tough job. He's got sticking James Edmonds out there on the wing.
Yeah, Thompson doesn't have an easy night. Plus, Thompson plays both ways, and he's a receiver for the Trojans, so he's got a tough road ahead of him. Although there's that 4th pass that falls short for the Eagles, and it'll bring up a 3rd and 10.
Nice job there by Wissahickon to cover that bootleg there. Lou Samba, who was open on the last play, not open on that one. So Noristown 3rd and 10, gonna have to try and do something on offense. Number 4, Ricky Preet into the game. 4 wide receivers for Noristown. Swittenberg, the lone back in the formation. Stewart back to pass once again. He'll throw over the middle.
Going for Ernest Terrell there.
Over Terrell, so Stewart once again an incomplete pass, and we will go to 4th down.
And I guess we're going to be looking for a punt here, I would think, unless Noristown has exuding confidence.
So after that initial shock, Wissahickon really doing a nice job of settling down and keeping themselves in this game, 7-0.
That's right. I definitely thought this was going to be a runaway from that first play, but it looks like Norristown came out hot, and now they're a little cold on offense. Wissahickon settling down as Trey Hadrick will boot the ball for the Eagles. And booted he...
Ow! A huge punt from Hadrick goes straight into the end zone. He got all of it.
Yeah, he was trying to corner kick that one. He was trying to hit it right down before it went out of bounds. And with about another yard, he would have done that. But he kicked it a little too far.
Chris Stout, one of the few guys who punts and returns kicks.
Yeah, there's a different one. Well, Trey Hadrick could probably do the same thing. He could probably punt the ball and return as well. He's a very versatile athlete, moving from quarterback to tight end this year, mainly because of his size. He has put on a little bit of the summer and has bulked up, and now he's into the tight end position. Of course, he'll be showing his skills on the basketball court as well coming this winter.
Wissahickon, 2 receivers once again, first down from the 20-yard line. Bach to the handoff. They'll go to Brosnan, and the ball is fumbled. Norristown ball coming back the other way. Turnover number 3.
That's right. That's the way it happens when you've won in your last 20 games. And that once again was Terry Powell, number 25, getting right into the action. He's been all over the field, and he picked up the fumble as we have an injured Eagle on the field. It's Jim Davis, number 57, as our most competent athletic trainer, Dennis Flynn, moves to the field with Dr. John Nebulis, the team doctor, to look over Jim Davis.
So Norristown hopefully can take advantage of the turnover. This Wissahickon team Sorry, I was a little distracted by the crazy fans screaming my name for some reason.
That's right. It's those crazy, crazy soccer fans. They're wearing no shirts, and they have numbers painted on their chest. They think they're on ESPN or something.
Well, what I was trying to say was, as soon as I say that Wissahickon getting back into the game, you know, a chance to settle down, maybe hold the ball for a little bit, they give up the ball in their first play. Not what Coach Tim Miller's looking for.
Hey, you know, you take away that fumble right there. A good play. He was barreling right up the middle, although he must have had butter on his fingers because that ball slipped out and popped right up into Powell's hands as Jim Davis comes off the field under his own power, and Dennis Flynn will attend to him immediately so that he can get back out and help the Eagles with more offense.
So Norristown will have the ball on the Wissahickon 23-yard line, or excuse me, the 18-yard line. I got to get the glasses checked.
That's right. Well, someone's standing in front of the yard marker there, Greg. Benefit of the doubt. I think the ball should go to Swittenberg here, keep it on the ground since Stewart's been cold in the air. And it does. It goes to Swittenberg around the left-hand side.
Swittenberg will turn it up the field. He is into the end zone for a touchdown. Troy Swittenberg, a great run right there, 18 yards. Maybe, possibly.
And I don't know, there hasn't been a mark on the field, but there is one thing on the field. That's an official. He got barreled over I believe it's an official, or maybe it's a cameraman on the sidelines.
Sorry, I didn't see that pylon.
And Mr. Flynn busy on both sides of the field here as he just got finished taking care of Jim Davis. Now he's across the field.
This is not what we like to see, of course. Unfortunately, an accident over on the other side. Players going hard after the ball. Unfortunately, the referee sometimes in a wrong place at the wrong time.
Swinburne definitely had a wide open hole there on the left side as he barreled right through, and he did score a touchdown as the Noristown band begins to chime in with that victory song. And the score is now 13-0. Matt Spitko back out on the field to put up that point after the touchdown. Is that an official?
So now Noristown looking to go up by 14 points. Not a great start for Noristown tonight, but getting the job done right now with 4:34. Hey. Very long first quarter.
Yes, indeed. I think Coach Grove has something to smile about with a 13-0 lead with 4:34 to go in the first quarter. And as you said, it is a long quarter. Feels like we're just about ready for halftime and the band to come out in the field, but now it's only the first quarter.
Bit of a delay on the field right here.
Now we're ready to go as Blake is the holder. Ryan Blake, the sophomore. Spitko lining it up.
Kick is up, and it is good. So Noristown up 14-0 with 4:34 left in this first quarter. Wissahickon turnover cost them once again on the first play. Noristown going to Troy Wittenberg. Their horse in the back, he gets 18 yards for a touchdown.
Matt Spitko featured as one of the nation's top athletes, top student athletes. He was featured on the World Wide Web about last week. One of the top athletes in Pennsylvania, top scholar athletes in Pennsylvania, playing two sports, football and soccer. And it's great to see Noristown get that kind of positive reinforcement of our student body and our school. And it's great to see Matt Spitko, a guy who works hard at every single practice, whether it's soccer or football, to get those accolades. As the cheerleaders bring out the mini footballs again and pass it once again, maybe they should put on a uniform, I said. They're passing them all over the place, just like Audley Stewart.
Well, if they get one up here, I suggest you put the pads on them and let them go out and play in the third quarter.
I'll tell you what, we have some receivers out there in the stands. They're catching them on the throw or on the fly. No bounces there. This is like a Sammy Sosa, Mark McGuire home run contest here.
So now Wissahickon to try and stop the bleeding a little bit here. Wants to try and do something productive before we go into the second quarter. Matt Spitko once again will kick off. The men back for Wissahickon. Sharif Queenan and Walt Thompson. Kick will go to Thompson, or Queenan, excuse me.
Queenan.
He gets to the 30, stuck at the 30-yard line. Ball appears to be loose.
There's a
Noristown ball.
15-yard return and another fumble, and that seems to be the theme song right now to Hicken, as the Eagles will take over again. And you could tell it was a fumble because Noristown just jumped on that like a hungry football player on a hoagie, and there was no way that anybody was going to get that ball away from the Eagles. And then they just started swarming and pounding on each other. I think they're a bit of what's the word I'm looking for, Greg? Someone who looks for pain. Masochistic? Yes, masochistic. Ooh. Quite masochistic is this Eagle squad. But like you said, they exude that confidence, and definitely with a 14-0 lead within the first quarter, they definitely can exude confidence.
This is a very hungry defensive team. See if they're hungry on offense right here. Stewart going for it all right now. Edmund slips, takes out the man who was covering him, Thompson, right there. Incomplete. Once again, passing problems for Noristown. Stewart, that ball just a little bit short. If he leads Edmonds a little bit, he's got himself a touchdown.
Yeah, and Stewart got rocked right after heaving that ball. He found out what the Roosevelt grass tastes like on that play.
So 2nd and 10 for Noristown in Wissahickon territory. Flag before the play. They have a false start on Noristown.
My spotter behind me just tells me that there's a helicopter right above the stadium now from Channel 10 taking pictures of the game, and that probably was the commotion before during the point after the touchdown. And you scan the sidelines here, you see Channel 6 is here, you see a lot of TV camera crews here to check out Noristown. You know that we have that sports show here in Philadelphia. I'm sure they'll be taking some pictures of Noristown either at this game or in the games to come. So a lot of press here for Noristown, and like I said, that's good for the school and for the entire community.
Stewart, the delayed handoff to Swittenborough. He'll go up the middle, get about 4 or 5 on the play, may have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. This Noristown team is really a team that, you know, you look at the CB West, you look at the North Penn, there's a few teams out west. This Noristown team, really not a lot of pressure on them this year. Not a lot of people expect, they do expect things from them, of course, with Swittenberg and Stewart and the great talent. But this team is not as, let's say, you know, dynamic as they were a team with a lot of threats.
I'll speak from a head coach's perspective. That's perfect. I don't want to be the one on the front page all the time. I want to be in the background. As Stewart throws it to number 7, Lou Samba, and he gets up to the 23, 24-yard line for the first complete pass by Audley Stewart.
So building a little bit of confidence for Stewart there. Unfortunately, it'll be 4th down.
4th and 1. Coach Grove have it in him, or is he going to punt the ball?
Well, at this point, down at the 23, 24-yard line, tough spot in high school football because you can't punt the ball really short. You also can't kick a 40-yard field goal. Can't expect a high school kicker to have that distance. So Norristown will go for it. Backs in the eye, 2 receivers. Terrell to the right, Edmonds to the left of Stewart.
And the way Wissahickon's been playing this game, you got to go for it. You never think they're going to be able to get on the other side of 50.
Swittenberg to the outside. He tries to struggle for a touchdown. I think he got to the 1-yard line. But Swittenberg, well, they got the first down.
They got more than a first down. They are all the way down to the 1-yard line. And Swittenberg looking like the Swittenberg of old, chopping right through the defense, going for that second effort and ending up close to 6 points.
So Norristown 1st and goal here. Wissahickon, not a lot of room to work back there. That ball, when Matt DePiro goes to bend down to move that thing just a tiny bit forward, it may be in the end zone.
Yeah, I think DePiro should just keep the ball.
So 1st and goal. Stewart on the sneak. Did he get forward over the plane? Does not
look like it.
It
doesn't look like it. I thought he fumbled the ball. But then again, I'm 30 years old and my vision's not what it used to be.
I'm 17 and my vision's not what it used to be.
It's going to rest right on our side of the goal line for 2nd and 1.
So Norristown trying to do it the barbaric way, trying just to tell us up front, go ahead forward and see if you can get your quarterback in.
That's right.
Fortunately, didn't work right there, so 2nd down. Maybe Norristown going for something different, maybe going right back to that play. Stewart, once again with the backs in the eye. He'll hand off to number 1, Troy Swittenberg, his 2nd touchdown of the night. Oh, 1-yard touchdown run. 20-0 Norristown. And there's still 2:04 left in the 1st quarter.
Oof. Well, Wissahickon did put points on the board in their last 2 games. However, they're having trouble getting over the 50-yard line right now. 20-0, soon to be 21, hopefully by Matt Spitko.
I have to say, we've played 10 minutes of this game. That Wissahickon defense has got to be very, very tired. They have been on the field a lot in this 1st quarter.
I would say they've been on the field for 8 of the 10 minutes in this 1st quarter.
Spitko, his kick is up. He is 3 for 3 for the night, 21-0. The number 6 team in the state, putting on a very impressive show tonight.
That's right, and it's not just the Troy Swittenberg show. It's the whole team contributing to it because it's that offensive line that breaks open the holes for Swittenberg to go 3. It's Audley Stewart calling the plays. It's the entire whole Eagle squad that's getting them into the end zone.
So Norristown coming into the new league, putting up a very impressive performance, and it's got to make teams like and of course Penridge very scared, and PW.
Yeah, we're definitely sending a message. I'll tell you what, that PW game will be exciting when Noristown plays them. Joe Iacovetti, the head coach there, getting on the front page of the Times-Herald Sports today. They're going up against Upper Marion this weekend.
Team we really have to look at in this league is Penridge, and that will be our next game on NASD TV. That will be October 8th, game against Penridge, and that was a district final matchup last year, which Norristown won to move on to face the Bucks in the final. Penridge gave them a very, very tough game last year. Norristown a little beat up after that game. Still performed well up in Doylestown, but you know that game is going to really determine who's going to take control in this league.
Yeah, I remember that night, Greg. It was a cold one over there. Not like tonight. Cool, crisp night here at Roosevelt Field, as number 3 Sharif Queen makes the kickoff and has a very impressive run back, about a 15-yard run back to end up on the Wissahickon 33-yard line.
So finally, somewhat good field position here for the Trojans from Wissahickon. They will start from the 32, 33-yard line. They've got to try and get something going right here. Coach Tim Miller really can't keep anything in the bag anymore. If you're going to try to stay in this game, come out now. Bakta with the backs in the eye, 2 receivers. He'll hand the ball off to Brosnan. Almost a moral victory, just holding on to the ball. He may have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. That Norristown defense is allowing absolutely nothing, and Wissahickon just has nothing to try and beat that Norristown defense.
That's right, number 77, Kirk Berry, in on the stop there, and he looks very dominating. He's a fine gentleman, walking the hallways with him, and he's always coming up and shaking your hand, and now he's showing his aggressive side here on the field.
2nd down and 10. Bakta back to pass again. He'll go over the middle, and a completely awful pass to number 5, Zach Rowe, about 10 yards ahead of him. Offense really just not clicking for them, and they can't seem to find that guy over the middle. Norristown, reading it well, has 4 or 5 guys around him. If he ever does catch the ball, he's punishment on him.
Yeah, Norristown is ready to lay into him as soon as he catches the ball. As we just heard over the announcement that Troy Swittenberg will be featured as the Athlete of the Week on the sports show, PHL 17 Sports Show. So that's something for our fans to watch, as Troy Swittenberg just is going to rack up the honors this year, I'm sure.
Bakta gets crunched. He completes the pass miraculously. They are short of the 1st down. Bakta took a pretty good shot right there. Completed the pass to number 5, Zach Rowe. He is the tight end, 5'10", 190, a junior. But Wissahickon short once again. And hey, they may get the ball over midfield this time.
That's right, but the Roosevelt maintenance crew, they're all down there praying, saying, keep that side of the field okay. We don't want any turf torn up on that side. The Norristown defense will do everything they can.
I have a feeling in 37 seconds it's going to be used going back the other way, though. Stout back to kick once again. Stewart and Edmonds are the deep men. Finally a good snap this time. Stout gets the kick away. Going towards the sidelines, takes a Norristown bounce. That ball will go to the 45 of Norristown. Once again, good field position. So with 13 seconds.
About a 20-yard punt, 22-yard punt, not bad. Yeah, 13 seconds to go. Norristown a 21-0 lead. And with this offense that Norristown can put forward, you never know. In 13 seconds, we could have another score.
This Wissahickon team just not exuding confidence tonight. And how can you really? We have not a lot of information on them, but they have 1 win in their last 13 games. Coaches say they are looking better, but really not at the level that they want to beat a team like Norristown. Stewart still with the ball, trying to get rid of it, and now he'll run in space. He's across midfield. He's got 1 man to beat. We're going to get a face mask penalty on the end of that, tack on about 15 more yards.
That's unbelievable.
Stewart creating space from the quarterback position. That's what you like to see from your quarterback, a little bit of excitement.
Crazy legs Stewart there. He was he was being pursued by 2 Trojan defenders, and all of a sudden he just scrambled out of nowhere, cut right through to the center of the field, and was darting back and forth. And before you know it, he's down on the 22-yard line of Wissahickon, and we've got 2 down. We've got a clipping against Noristown, and we have a face mask. It looks like it's going to be against the Trojans. Penalties will offset, and that whole play is going to come back.
Last year, the threat with Noristown from their quarterback position was this great strong arm of Chris Blake. This year, it is the speed of Audley Stewart, and just all the great things he can do at quarterback. He reminds you of a McNabb who was so great in that option offense up at Syracuse.
That's right. Donovan McNabb now, of course, looking for success in Philadelphia, and he does look like Donovan McNabb. He's not afraid to go with that ball. I said he looks like Randall Cunningham early. Randall was never afraid to go with the ball, and he's always looking for that open hole, and Stewart's doing the same thing.
So the penalty's offset, and we're going back to the 45-yard line like it never existed. Now with one second
left in the quarter, this play will end the first quarter.
Stewart with 2 running backs. This is the last play of the first quarter. Gives the ball up the middle to Brian Gordon. Gordon streaking up the sideline. A flag thrown on this near sideline, but Brian Gordon getting a lot of yardage coming up that right side. When you have threats like Troy Swittenberg and Trey Hadrick and the 2 receivers, Edmonds and Terrell, Brian Gordon, scary guy coming out of the backfield.
Yeah, it's a holding penalty, though, against Noristown. That was a 35-yard run for Brian. It's all going to come back because of the holding penalty as we end the second quarter.
Well, Coach Grove, happy that his team's up 21-0, I'm guessing, but not real happy with the penalties and the turnovers, and this game really could be out of hand right now. Noristown just hasn't really, put this Wissahickon team away. I mean, Wissahickon, I probably will not come back in this game, but they really had a chance to, pound into them in the first 6-7 minutes of the first quarter. It really didn't happen.
Yeah, the files are clicking over in my head, and Greg, and when we do basketball, we say the same thing. These costly mistakes time and again are not going to affect you in this game, but down the road when you're playing a game like Penn Ridge or PW or whatever, those are when they're going to creep up and bite you. And I know Coach Grove will use all these as fodder for a halftime talk.
So while we have a moment here, we want to thank the Noristown Area School District for bringing you tonight's game. Director of Communications, Mr. Tony Koya. Producer and director tonight, Mr. Sam Galbraith. And of course, our camerawoman tonight, Jocelyn Hadrick. Everybody doing a fine job tonight. We're at the end of the first quarter, 21-0 Noristown. I am Greg Fry, joined by Neil Schaefer. Here at Roosevelt Field, a nice night after a very windy and rainy one last night.
That's Hurricane Floyd blowing through, but looking at the track and looking at the field, you wouldn't know it. It's all dried up. We had plenty of sun today, and the cheerleaders are now dancing on cinders and not in puddles.
Well, this quarter isn't over yet, let me tell you. Noristown's still going back the same way. Stewart, the handoff to Swittenberg, hopefully no penalties so we can go back the other side. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, we've reached the second quarter.
Right, after a couple malfunctions on the clock and a couple run plays, Noristown with a 21-0 lead here at Roosevelt Field.
That first quarter, Swittenberg close to about 60, 65 yards at 2 touchdown runs, the easy one from 1 yard out, but that nice 18-yard run that he had on the first play of that drive. Really, he's looked good tonight. The whole Noristown offense still doesn't look like they're clicking together. It looks like about 1 or 2 weeks, and by the time they start to get to their big games, they'll really be clicking.
That's right, and as far as passing goes, it's been it's pretty sparse. It's been 1 for 6 for Wissahickon for a total of 7 yards. For Noristown, just around 10 yards on one pass by Audley Stewart. One completed pass, I should say. He's tried it 7 times, and it's fallen 6 times.
We have some other game area tonight, and of course, we can update you on games in the area and moving to this new league this year. We have a game between PW and Upper Merion, which should be a good one. Two teams very close to each other and really a good rivalry right there.
That's right, and they were featured this morning on the Times-Herald sports page. Big picture of Coach Joe Iacovetti from Plymouth Whitemarsh, of course, the guidance counselor here at Noristown, and then a picture of each of their top guys for Upper Merion and Plymouth Whitemarsh.
And of course, Wissahickon and Upper Dublin going at it tonight at Upper Dublin. Those two teams really middle of the pack. Wissahickon having a pretty good year last year. Upper Dublin, really don't know much about them, but we know they're not really a threat to go far.
Definitely not a football school.
Not a lot of teams that really scare Noristown in this league. Like I said, Penridge and PW really the two teams to worry about. And of course, we started that new Noristown PW rivalry on Thanksgiving Day. It's really turned into a good rivalry, and it's nice to see fans come out on Thanksgiving. 10 o'clock in the morning, come out with the family and see a good football game.
Go home and eat a lot of turkey. And I've just been handed a card here. Be sure to catch the highlights of today's game on the Inquirer High School Sports Show every Saturday morning at 9:30 a.m. on KYW3 CBS. That's the Inquirer High School Sports Show, Saturday mornings at 9:30 on KYW3 CBS.
Are you going to mention who gave you that card? Or are you going to?
No, I'm not. I just misidentified that show. I thought it was PHL 17. Of course, it's KYW3 CBS.
Switched our channels once again. Swittenberg off the left side, breaks a couple of tackles. Bronson hanging on for dear life right there, but Swittenberg will get a first down.
Yeah, and Brosnan there just about let go of Swittenberg, but he was lucky to get him down as he picks up another bulk yardage for Noristown.
We'll give him 12 on that. That pitch off the left side appears to be working for Noristown. Good clearance out there on the left side by those linemen. It's number 53 on that side. Donovan Palmer doing a nice job. Number 69, Jim DePiro. And of course, James Edmonds doing a nice job at that wide receiver position. The quick hitter up the middle. Noristown is accustomed to do with their fullback. That'll get them about 3 or 4 yards. Noristown likes that play. It's a little change of pace. Start the key on Swittenberg. You give it to an up man like Samba or Gordon, and you can try and get 4 or 5 yards, and it establishes a little bit of a power running game.
Yeah, and it also throws the defense totally off because everybody's going to start going for that up the middle thing, and then you got Swittenberg on the wings, and he's just dangerous when he goes outside.
So 2nd and 6.
Stewart keeper. Oh, he slips.
He was on his way for a big gain, and Stewart slipped, unfortunately, right there. A penalty on the play, a holding from Noristown's coming back anyway.
He was touched by Billy Stout as he slipped down. Stout getting credit for the tackle.
It's the easiest tackle Billy Stout's probably going to have to make all night.
That's right.
So penalties once again killing Noristown. Like you said, Neil, this, really not a problem in this game, but down the road, this is something that Noristown's really going to have to address.
Hey, you can't do that against PW or Penridge or something like that. They'll capitalize on it.
So a 5-yard penalty. Or excuse me, a 10-yard penalty for the holding. 2nd and 17 from the 31-yard line.
Terrell and Edmonds, the wideouts for Noristown.
Stewart back to pass. He will go deep to the end zone looking for Terrell.
He's got it.
Terrell caught that ball. That's amazing.
Touchdown.
That's a great catch by Ernie Terrell. A great pass from Stewart. It's a 31-yard touchdown pass. Good ball from Audley Stewart. That's what happens when you have big receivers out there. They can adjust to the ball, and quarterback really didn't have a chance on that play.
I think there was only 2 guys that were really sure of that touchdown. That was Audley Stewart and Ernest Terrell. Even the official had to wait for Terrell to turn over to see if he still had a hold of the ball. But you could almost see it. It was almost a telegraph move as Stewart dropped back and rolled to the right. He was looking for one man and one man only. 88, Ernest Terrell.
Well, folks, I can honestly tell you, it's the hardest place to see over in that far right corner. You can't see whether sometimes even the referees don't see what's going on over there, and we've seen many touchdown passes over to that corner. Takes a couple seconds. Bad snap. The hold gets put down, and Spitko's kick is good. He's 4 for 4 tonight. We have a 28-0 ball game. So we're getting a bit of a feel of a Penn State-Akron game here.
Yeah, I definitely think that Coach Tim Miller and his assistants will definitely not want to watch the tapes of this game, because all they're seeing is a lot of blue running all over the field.
And if we continue on like this, it looks like the third and fourth quarter will be bad joke night.
Yeah, I want to start on those jokes because this is my first football game in just about 9 years, so I'm going to try to keep it clean and keep it straight tonight.
The Noristown kicking off from the 40-yard line again. Matt Spitko getting a lot of work running onto the field on and off. That special teams really done a nice job making sure that they stay trapped back there. They've mixed it up a little bit. They've gone to Thompson a couple times, gone to Queenan a couple times. Neither man really able to break any kind of play, but I think that's what happens when you don't have great blocking up front either.
Yeah, I think Spitko's been on the field more than Wissahickon's offense.
Once again, the three deep men will be Brosnan, Thompson, and Queenan. Kick is up from Spitko. He will go to Thompson over on that far sideline. And he breaks up the field, broke a couple of tackles, and he gets up to about the 37-yard line. Good second effort right there from Walt Thompson.
That was a 25-yard return for Thompson.
So Wissahickon trying to do anything they can. They haven't really had, they've probably had maybe one first down, and that was given to them on a penalty.
That's right, and they probably had 10 or 11 or 12 offensive plays altogether. And like you said, that one was on a penalty. Without that penalty, they probably would be reduced to about 8 plays.
If you're Wissahickon coach Tim Miller, you're probably saying to yourself, let's hold the ball for a little more than a minute this time.
That's right.
Try and see if we can get a couple of first downs out of this possession. Bach back to pass. He'll go to the sidelines. Good acrobatic catch there by Sharif Queenan, and a first down right there, an 11-yard gain for Wissahickon. A little three-step drop, and Queenan turned around, ran a good route, got himself a first down.
I don't know, if I was the coach, I would have kept it on the ground, but after a pass like that, a beautiful reception, hey, you got to go to the air, and you got to give your quarterback Bachta some confidence.
When high school, many times you see a team that really, you know, when they start to get in trouble, they will run the ball. This appears to be a team that doesn't have a real confidence in their running game. They'll throw the ball more than they will run it. Brosnan, the man in motion. Up the middle, and that really doesn't go anywhere. Maybe two, caught 1 or 2 on the play.
Handoff was to number 36, Andy Black. Didn't get anywhere. Maybe 2 or 3 yards. 3 yards to be exact, as the scoreboard says. 2nd and 7.
John Brosnan around 11 or 12 yards. Andy Black around 4 yards tonight. Nothing really doing in the running game, and of course, Satan Bachta not really doing a great job passing. One of those two has to be working for you to, you know, really be productive on offense, and unfortunately not getting anything done. They finally get about 4 or 5 yards, a good gain right there.
Brosnan there with about 4 or 5 yards, handoff from Bachta. And it'll bring up a 3rd and 4 for the Trojans.
These stands are packed tonight. People mingling around, and really it's hard to focus on a football game when it's 28-0. That pass is bad, down by one of the linemen, incomplete, and it'll be 4th down. If you have to take a guess to who it's going to be, look at big 6'8" James Stewart standing right there in the middle.
Yeah, or it could have been Kirk Berry. He stands about 6'4", and James Stewart was also there. Like you said, it's tough to get past this Noristown defense. They've got a lot of weapons out there, And it's not one person that we're keying on tonight. It just seems to be the whole defense contributing to the Wissahickon woes.
That's the toughest thing for a quarterback, having to throw over, you know, a tall defensive lineman. I don't think I've ever seen a 6'8" defensive lineman in my life.
And especially since this is only his first year of organized football. And there will be a roughing the kicker penalty, I'm sure, as the flag goes down immediately in the area of the punter.
Hadrick and Powell were coming hard on that play. Really, they've either got to get there or they've got to stop. They've got to commit to one of them, because I think that's the second time or third time that's happened tonight. It's really costing them, and they could have the ball a lot more tonight. They keep giving, you know, automatic first downs to Wissahickon.
They're giving Wissahickon another opportunity here. It was an obvious roughing the kicker, and three guys just swarmed all over him.
And now they've given Wissahickon their first taste of being in defensive territory. The ball will be spotted on the 44 of Noristown. Or no, I'm sorry, they're going to move it forward. They were at the 40.
We moved up to the 28. Almost, it was a 15-yard penalty there. And it puts the Trojans within scoring position here.
Didn't think we'd hear those words tonight, but
no, definitely not the way it's looking. But I'll tell you what, I guess Coach Miller is pretty much throwing caution to the wind right now and trying anything he can. As Bakta fades back to pass, and it's intended for number 3, Sharif Queenan, defended Wittenberg. Ball is incomplete, or falls incomplete.
Interesting play right there from Wissahickon. They tried the little pump fake delay. Choice Wittenberg did not bite on that play. The lineman kept on coming, and Bakta had to get rid of that ball. A little bit rushed. That's what this Wissahickon offense, that's the story of their night. Everything has been rushed. The running game has had no time to develop. They've had no holes. Satan Bakta really no chance to settle.
Well, he doesn't drop back very far either. He only drops back about 1.5 steps, and then he's throwing the ball. I guess he can't drop back too far, or he's going to be hitting the turf.
Brosnan, the man in motion. The quick handoff to Andy Black. And that...
Black's going to lose 2 or 3 yards on that play. He didn't get anywhere.
That play is not working either. They keep sending Brosnan in motion and leave him at one man in the backfield. Noristown really keying on him when they see him get the ball.
It looked like he lost 2 yards, but it's going to be a pickup of absolutely nothing. So it's 3rd and 10 now for the Trojans, and 21 left in the second quarter.
3rd and 10, Wissahickon trying to get something going here. Bakta back to pass. He's got a little bit of time. Here comes Stewart. And here comes Barry after him. He's going to throw that ball incomplete. Good diving effort from Walt Thompson. A little dramatic. But Stewart and Barry with good pursuit right there.
Hey, if I was Bakta, I'd get rid of that ball too, with a 265-pound lineman chasing you down.
Whatever you do, don't look backwards.
I think James Stewart looks pretty dominating or domineering in the hallway, but now put on a football pad and a blue uniform, and he looks even bigger.
So 4th and 10. Ball spotted at the 29-yard line. Wissahickon really no choice right here for it. And they're going to go to the shotgun offense for the first time tonight. Not really an offense that a team who only has 30 total yards runs usually.
Looks like he's calling an audible from the line or something like that.
Back to
it's going to be almost picked off.
Well, James Edmonds used to catching him and going to the end zone. That ball just get it down and get possession back, and that's what they do right there. Really a poor effort right there for Wissahickon on 4th down. And with 6:54, you would think that Noristown would try and slow down the game a little bit, for a little bit, try and put themselves up 35-0 and go into the locker room pretty happy.
Well, you'd think they want to slow it down, but they've got probably the #1 quarterback or running back in the state in there, and you've got Audley Stewart, who is no slouch at quarterback. You've got a lot of weapons there, and I'm sure that Coach Grove is not one of those coaches that says, oh, let's take it easy on these guys. He's got that Paterno attitude. Hey, if we've got the manpower, let's do it. Let's not embarrass them, but let's get the job done. As Ernie Terrell gets a pass here from Stewart.
A great 3-step drop there from Audley Stewart. A quick throw to Terrell. It's nice to have two receivers that you can throw the ball to, and those guys are going to break tackles out there. They're going to get you extra yards. They're going to keep the legs going. You don't see a lot of great, quarterbacks and safeties in high school football, and you really can't expose it if you want to, but unfortunately for Noristown, looks like we're going to have another penalty.
It looks like another after the play.
So the referees will mark it off. Another good throw from Stewart. Falls by the wayside and will bring the ball back. It's going to be a 15-yarder. $15 yards back from the end of the play, 5 from where they were. So it'll be first and 15 for Noristown.
That's a big loss there for Noristown. They were over the 50-yard line, and now all of a sudden they're backed up to the 24.
I have got to say that Monday through Thursday next week, Coach Grove will be working on making sure his team doesn't commit penalties. Swittenberg breaks it to the outside, trying to break one more tackle. Good run right there from Swittenberg. He'll get about 10 on the run. That left has been completely wide open. Everybody holding their blocks. Receivers holding their blocks, tackles getting out there, guards pulling, leaving nice holes for Troy Swittenberg. He really hasn't had to do a lot of work tonight.
No, it looks like he's just taking it really easy as his O-line is doing a lot of the work for him. He's breaking right through, and he had a good second effort there to bust up almost to a first down. We couldn't see because the great blue line of uniforms stood in front of us, or stood between us and the field. Many
times, a running back in professional football will go out and, he will buy his lineman dinner because he had a great 150-yard or, over 100-yard game rushing. Stewart in trouble, trying to get away. Beats his man with speed, and now he's got some space. He's going to run. He'll get a first down. Good presence right there from Audley Stewart. He had two linemen bearing down on him, and he realized he was quicker than both of them, got himself a first down. Good, smart play right there.
Yeah, and one of the linemen got his uniform. He broke free of that, and he was like, I'm going to get on my horse and start to ride, and that ride he did. Impressive Audley Stewart action there. You were talking about buying dinner, Swittenberg buying dinner for his linemen. He better have a good part-time job because he's going to be buying steak dinners for all these linemen, giving them all the holes that they've given him.
Audley Stewart did a nice job there. Oftentimes you see from a quarterback who's, in the beginning of the season, he'll try and create too much and he'll make a bad throw. Right there, good presence of mind to make sure he tucked that ball away, made sure he got to the first down and didn't try and do too much. Quick hitter up the middle once again from Noristown. They'll get about 2 or 3 yards on the play. So we're under 6 minutes here in the second quarter. Coach Grove giving his play to Audley Stewart. Of course, Coach Grove calls all plays for Noristown, making sure he gives them in to Stewart, but that coaching staff's really done a nice job to prepare the team this year.
That's right. Vic Bellamy and Antino, Jack Griffiths, Michael Grove, the second-generation Grove family, Brian Kennedy, Tom Parentozzi, Nick Rotunda Jr., and Mark Skaczynski.
So 2nd and 8. Pickup of 2 on first down. Stewart will go deep, looking for Edmonds. He is wide open. Nice job by Sharif Queenan to make a touchdown-saving tackle. But Stewart, that's a great ball over the cornerback. He could have led him and gotten for a touchdown, but he made sure that ball was away from Queenan, and that's all you can really expect from a high school quarterback.
Hey, Stewart rocketed that ball downfield. He was a 40-yard pass, and that was a rifle. He clicked the shells there, and he threw that ball with a lot of acceleration, a lot of speed downfield, and Edmonds, giving the big target there, was an easy completion. It was a 40-yard pass, and Stewart just doubled his passing yards for the night.
James Edmonds, on first-team All-League receiver year, he showed why right there by making a great catch. Swittenberg will fight his way up the middle for 2 yards. And after some first-quarter jitters, I really like the job that senior quarterback Audley Stewart is doing tonight.
That's right. We said he needed some time to get his feet wet. Well, they're soaking wet right now because he's doing everything right. He's handing off to Swittenberg, he's passing to Edmonds, he's passing to Terrell, and everything is getting done.
Coach Grove has kind of seen the light in the past couple years, and in an offense, been here over 20 years, and this is an offense that has always been based on the run. All of a sudden, they've opened it up a little bit more, and they've become very productive and efficient on offense. Stewart once again back to pass, eludes 2 men. He'll throw a ball towards the end zone, caught right there by number 4, Ricky Preet, a touchdown. That play was created by Arlie Stewart, and his receivers kept moving. Ricky Preet, a nice job to follow his quarterback, 34-0.
15-yard completion there, Stewart, and now he's 4 for 11. Those 4 passes have become big passes, 1 of 10, 1 of 31, 1 of 40, and 1 of 15. And that quickly, Noristown is up 34-0. This is a final score, Greg. This isn't a halftime score.
Like I said, I was very impressed with that play right there. He eluded the lineman, kept the head up, realized where he presence of mind to hit Ricky Preet, and Ricky Preet, a nice job to make sure he got open for his quarterback. That kick is no good from Spitko, so 4 out of 5 ain't bad apparently, but 34-0 for Noristown, not really a problem right there. Preet is a 5'10", 170 junior.
We were talking about Chris Blake a little bit earlier, playing Division I AA football right now. Audley Stewart filling the shoes pretty nicely, Greg?
I would say so. And this is, a lot of people talked about he pretty much came out of nowhere. His junior year, he really struggled throwing the ball. His senior year, though, they let him control that offense. And Audley Stewart had some big shoes to fill, and he had the help of some of his returning players. But you are missing guys, from that offensive line also from last year. Guys like Yaboa Kabold, who did such a great job at that guard position. Mike Ginyard, who was such a great center for Noristown. And unfortunately, he left, so he couldn't have heard that. But, it's tough to try and get linemen who are, for it, and that's one of the big things for a quarterback. Only Stewart has the time, and he's really playing smart tonight.
Yeah, and Stewart just got a boost there from number 4, Ricky Preet, as Preet takes a breather on the ground right in front of us. Ricky, a nice guy here at Noristown, and he's just another offensive weapon now for Noristown. You got Terrell, you've got Edmonds, you got Preet. Who's next for Noristown?
And if I'm a coach from any team in this league, I'm thinking to myself right now, who do I say up? Spitko goes right down the middle this time. That'll go to number 3, Queenan. He'll come up the middle, break out to the left side, almost to the 30-yard line. So Wissahickon once again starting from behind their own 30 with 3:48 left in the second quarter. Very demoralizing for a Wissahickon team that, coming off of a 26-24 loss the first week, coming off of a tough loss against Wissahickon, last week, and you're facing the Noristown right now is on a roll.
It could be a tough ride back to Wissahickon, and it could be a tough halftime for the Trojan locker room. Quiet here at Roosevelt, I'm sure. Sparse crowd on the opposite side of the field for the Trojans. There's probably more players on the field than there are fans in the stands.
Well, that's the thing. There's not a lot of players on that sideline for Wissahickon, so can't be many parents coming to the game.
That's right. As Botka hands it off up the middle to, it's coming up from the pile right now, number 34, John Brosnan. Gets only 1 yard there, bringing up a 2nd and 9 with just over 3 minutes to play in the first half here at Roosevelt Field. The home opener and the league opener for the Noristown Eagles.
Timeout called by Wissahickon. So like we said before, Coach Grove can't be too happy with all the penalties, but it's nice to get the first game in the new league out of the way. And unfortunately for Noristown, before, some of their early games would be against the CB West or would be against the CB East. And these were tough games that they had to play. A very easy home opener for Noristown, and really to start off their season well.
That's right.
Coming up for Noristown next week, they will be at Quakertown. I've gone on rides to Quakertown. Not a fun ride up there. It's a nice hour long. Then they'll go to Cheltenham the next week. Back home against Penridge, and you'll be able to see that game on NASD TV. and then up to Wissahickon. So 1 o'clock game, a Saturday game. Wissahickon probably liking the fact that, you know, they're getting to play another team from the area. Unfortunately, a very good team in Noristown.
Yes, a very tough neighborhood rivalry there. As you could be rooting for a neighbor because you could live across the street from him.
Noristown, from this performance tonight, and we're not even through the first half, you could really say that they may have an easy road to the playoffs this year.
That's true. Bakta drops back.
He'll look over to the sideline.
Intended.
Stewart saw it. He was looking for number 36, Andy Black. He was well covered by Hadrick and Swittenberg and Stewart and everybody. And you just really can't name one guy because there's always 3 guys around the ball.
They just seem to swarm around the ball. It's sort of a magnet. And that's good for Noristown defense. It's good for the coaching staff, gives them confidence. And that'll bring up a 3rd and 9 for Wissahickon.
I have a feeling we're going to see a few substitutions in the second half. Coach Grove probably not going to risk playing many of his starters from too long in the third quarter. Maybe out there give him a couple of series and let some of the younger guys play. And that's picked by Stewart. He is going to go to the touchdown. Audley Stewart, the quarterback.
I don't know. I don't know about this one. There's 2 penalty flags down there, separate penalty flags. I'm not sure what they are, but Audley doing a little showmanship down the field there. Not sure that's what he wanted to do, but here's the call by the referee.
That play was shown all over the place when he did that at CB West last year too, during that championship game. It's really just Audley Stewart is a very flamboyant player, we'll say, and you know, he really does get excited. His team makes a good play and he does, you know, a good thing. Either way, Noristown put up 6 more points on the board and another turnover from that Wissahickon offense.
Yeah, it's another turnover, Greg, but I'm not, I was just going to say I'm not too sure it's a touchdown.
So now this will just make Spitko's kick a little bit longer. He's going to have to kick a field goal now instead of an extra point.
That's right.
Probably Stewart and saying, thanks very much. Now I got to kick a longer one.
Well, I think Matt's ready for the challenge. He, as I said, he's a soccer player in addition to a football player, and he can definitely boot that ball as far as he needs to go. Blake to hold the ball, Spitko to try to put it through the uprights.
So we're going to spot it from the 20, so it'll be about a 35-yard extra point here for Spitko. But 40-0.
It's not like you need the point, Greg.
2 defensive touchdowns tonight. And no matter what team you play against, you always like to see the defense trying to put points on the board, number 1. Number 2, really helping out your team.
I didn't even see a receiver there for Bakta. It was just wide open. It looked like he was passing right to Audley Stewart.
It appears that his man cut up field. Bakta thought he was going to cut to the sideline. Stewart was playing the sideline pass, and the man who was covering the receiver followed him to the inside, and Audley Stewart was standing there saying thank you very much.
An out became 6 points for Noristown.
So now Spitko for the extra point. Kick is up, and it's not
fall short.
Going to make it. So the extra point short, 40-0 with 2:53 left in the first half. This is not what we're accustomed to seeing here at Noristown. Used to seeing some very good games with teams such as in Council Rock, and really not a team you can blow out in the Suburban 1 National League. Suburban 1 American League, however, Noristown obviously one of the more talented, if not the most talented team in this league. People are going to fear the blue and white this year.
Yes, and I just got a word that now with a 35-point lead, the clock is going to continue to run on offense. With a 35-point lead, and we definitely have a 35-point lead here.
There is a rule which was just enforced last year, but thank you for reminding me. There's a new rule that says once you get up by 35 points or more, they will let the clock run at all times.
Is that the CB West rule, or
yeah,
that was the?
I think it was invented for 70-0 games where CB West was winning.
All right. I could be called the Nebraska or the Oklahoma rule, because back in the 80s, Nebraska and Oklahoma used to win games by 60 or 70 points. The Barry Switzer era and the Oklahoma Sooners.
Well, I can say is I just looked outside the broadcast booth tonight. A couple of guys with hats on, and they had a Q on the front of them. Quakertown coaches who are here. And let me tell you something. They're shaking their heads frustrated when they leave.
Yeah, they're not taking home good news.
They realize they have a tough week ahead of them. Queenan is absolutely stuck just in front of the 30-yard line.
By number 53, Donovan Palmer. Palmer, a 6'2", 205-pound senior, stuffed Queenan to the ground. And Wissahickon, again, will take over 1st and 10 with 2:45 left in the half.
So now the clock will run at all points. If I am not mistaken, even on out-of-bounds plays, they will keep the clock moving. So 1st down for Wissahickon. They have backs in the eye. 2 receivers are Thompson and Queenan. Bakta, the handoff to John Brosnan. He is hit. He's struggling for more yardage. He will not get much. Probably got out to about the 33 or 34-yard line. Give him 4 on the carry. Wissahickon just keeps plugging away. Unfortunately, there's not much they can do right now.
And as Brosnan keeps struggling ahead, you have number 7, Lusaba, who comes up and tries to strip the ball out from him. He's getting it from all sides. There's just really no help there for Wissahickon.
So now we have some defensive substitutions for Noristown. Usually don't see defensive substitutions in the first half. We'll try and name some of those guys as they get into the game. But guys who figure, oh, I'm coming to the varsity game, I may not get much time, all of a sudden are playing a half worth of football.
That's right, and that's number 34, Brosnan again, taking the run. It looks like he's going to pick up another couple yards, bring up a 3rd down for Wissahickon.
An injured player over on the far side, number 66, Rick Smith.
He hobbles off the field under his own power. Replacing him will be number 76, Kyle Barnett. 75, Kyle Barnett.
This Noristown defense has come out hungry, and they want to make sure they win games this year. They also like the fact that their defense is, pitching a shutout. And I talked to Coach Nick Rotundo. He is one of the key coaches on that defense, and he has talked about how, this team really wants to pitch some shutouts this year. And if he kept his feet in bounds, Sheldon Gray has himself an interception, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep, Bakta's been picked off again. That's his 2nd interception. They've had 2 fumbles for 4 turnovers altogether. And like you said, Sheldon Gray, the 5'10", 165-pound senior, kept his feet inbound and picked it off. And I'll tell you what, I'm not sure whether the official called the catch. It was number 9, Trey Hadrick, who called that catch. But Hadrick was celebrating even before the official made the motion.
Well, Gray, a nice job of keeping the feet in bounds to make sure he didn't step out. Playing receiver there for a second, and many of the Noristown defensive backs playing receiver tonight. Noristown starting from the 33-yard line.
Greg, we have 46 seconds left in the half. Do you think Noristown can score again?
Quarterback into the game is number 3, Jamal Alf. He'll hand off to number 11, Orlando Brown, getting some running time. We'll call him Downtown for short, and he gets himself a 1st down.
Downtown Orlando Brown. He picks up a 1st down on his first play in the game.
Brown, 5'6", 155, not a real big running back. Swindenberg at 5'10", 190. And you have a guy like John Brosnan, who's 5'94". Brown could get beat up a little bit, but he appears to be very quick through that hole.
Yeah, he's a tough little guy. Had him in class a couple years ago. He's a tough cookie. He's not going to let anybody push him around. And gauging by that play right there, making a 1st down on your first play, I'd say it's pretty good, as we have an injured Trojan on the field. That's Zach Rowe, number 5. He's a junior, and he's being attended right now by the doctor. And the clock will stop for the injury.
Well, this is certainly a memorable first game between Noristown and Wissahickon tonight.
That's right. It's got to be memorable for someone like Matt Spitko, who's getting a lot of action out there. He has 4 or 5 points up on the board just for himself, and that's just in points after the touchdown. He hasn't even had a field goal attempt yet. It's also memorable for people like Ricky Preet scoring a touchdown in the season opener, and also Sheldon Gray with a big pickoff there to end any chances of a Wissahickon score here in the first half.
Backs in the eye right now for Noristown. Two receivers are Sheldon Gray and Ricky Preet. We've seen them both catch a ball tonight.
Handoff goes to Orlando Brown again, and he gets stuffed by number 78, Doran Grebe, and number 57, Tom Beal. But Brown gets up, shakes it off. There was a flag on the play before the handoff.
Do you realize that's the end of the first half, and that's the first time we've mentioned any player on Wissahickon's team on defense? A tough half for Wissahickon, but a great one for Noristown. They lead 40-0 at halftime. Ladies and gentlemen, if you thought this was coming, if you thought it was going to be a blowout, okay, but I don't think you could predict that it was going to be 40-0 at halftime.
Now, I would have said maybe 21-0, but not 40-0. And definitely Coach Miller going into a very quiet locker room, and he'll have something to say to his team.
So Coach Grove is probably going to go in to tell his team, let's just keep working on offense. Let's keep trying to do the job. Coach Miller got to try and get something productive out of this game. Could be a backbreaker for this Wissahickon team that might, trying to progress this year. So at halftime, 40-0. We will be back in just a moment with third quarter action from Roosevelt Field. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Roosevelt Field. The score at time 40-0. Noristown with a tremendous lead. I'm Greg Fry, joined by Neil Schaefer tonight. Let's run down the scoring for you. All began 7 seconds into the game. Trey Hadrick picking off a pass and dancing into the end zone for a touchdown. And then after that, Troy Swittenberg on an 18-yard touchdown run. Swittenberg again with a 1-yard run. And then we go with Ollie Stewart, a 31-yard TD pass to Ernie Terrell, and then a 15-yard pass to Ricky Preet. Stewart doing it on the defensive end as well, picking off a pass going into the end zone. A couple extra points missed in there. A lot of turnovers from Wissahickon. It's 40-0 and very ugly.
That's right, and the 35-point rule will be in effect for the second half. The officials have told me that the game clock will only stop during a score or an official timeout. Even on an incomplete pass, the clock will continue to run, which speeds up the game and doesn't slow it down for a blowout like it is right now. Although that's assuming that Wissahickon does not get on the scoreboard and shuts that 35-point rule down.
Well, Noristown, we saw in the end of the first half putting in some of their reserves. We expect to see more of them in the second half.
Yeah, Orlando Brown came out to do some of the running, and Jamal Offer took over as quarterback. Hopefully Coach Grove will use some more players to his advantage. I'm sure he doesn't want to put somebody like Troy Swittenberg out there in a 40-0 blowout and risk an injury. Because although you do have a superstar in Troy Swittenberg, everything is possible here, and this is football, and anything can happen.
What's amazing, right now we have Troy Swittenberg under 100 yards, and really incredible. Noristown's up 40-0, and Troy Swittenberg, doesn't have 300 yards. You would figure that he would have a huge game for them to put this many points up on the board.
That's right, but it has been a balanced attack, and Ollie Stewart has 34 yards to rushing and just under 100 for passing. So it's been a pretty balanced attack for the Noristown football team.
Well, of course, I have to ask you this question, and I'm just setting this up for you. If you're Coach Tim Miller from Wissahickon, what did you say to your guys at halftime?
I'm not really sure. I'm sure he probably has some kind of rehearsed speech that he can give, but I'm not too sure what it is. I guess let's try to do something positive, points on the board, and try to walk out of here with our head held high. At least give an effort, and let's not just roll over and become a statistic for Noristown.
I would expect to see their first team out trying to get some work and trying to get the team, back to where they should be at this point. You work so hard from the middle of August to get to the point where you start your season, and for Wissahickon, Their league opener was last week. And quickly, they're going to be down 0-2 in the league. That's not a good start.
Yeah, but one thing you'd have to say is Satan Bakhta, he is definitely not shy. He is definitely just keep putting the ball up there and handing off to Black and Brosnan and just putting it right ahead and just putting his best foot forward. Some quarterbacks might roll over and give up. Not Bakhta. He just keeps on moving ahead, and that's what Wissahickon's going to have to do for this game and the rest of the season. Just keep moving ahead, trying to get little successes instead of trying to go for big wins.
And Noristown, of course, will open the league 1-0, barring a miraculous event. Maybe that Channel 10 helicopter would have to crash on the field that we were talking about
Right,
for
we'd
the
have
first
to have
half.
Black Sunday all over again.
Yeah. So the captains going out to the field. Once again, the captains for Noristown this year: Jameel Butler, Trey Hadrick, Troy Swittenberg, and James Edmonds is out there tonight. So we talked with some of the fans at the time. These fans are really, happy their team's up 40-0, but mostly everybody's saying, wow, that was a really long first half.
Yeah, and they're sitting on their hands for most of the game except for the exciting bursts of Eagles scoring. And we've had 4 or 5 different occasions of that Eagle scoring. For most of the fans, it's just a social atmosphere right now, talking to the people around you, just waiting for the next interception or fumble to come along.
So Noristown will be receiving to start. First time they've received a kick all night. You're the defensive coach. That's what you like to hear.
Field's still in pretty good condition after Hurricane Floyd passes through. Doesn't seem to be torn up in any one place. That's good for the grounds crew here at Roosevelt Field, and they do a heck of a job. Roosevelt Field crew does a fine job keeping everything going. The field in pretty good condition after torrential downpours for 5 or 6 solid hours. The track looks in good condition. Hopefully we'll have some spring track and field competition here. As the kicker for Wissahickon lines up the ball back deep for the Eagles, Troy Swittenberg, number 1, and Audley Stewart, number 5.
So Chris Stout will kick off for Wissahickon. Noristown special teams, also something that they really have to work on. Their special teams got a lot better last year. That was something that really, made them very productive. And they were very efficient, and that's what got the job done, and that's what got them so far. So we are about ready to get underway. Stout's kickoff will be a line drive, let go, and taken by Stewart back at the 10. He had a horse tripped up. The ball is not loose, excuse me. It looked like Stewart, but Hadrick came through there.
His own man tackled him there. Hadrick, he bumped right into Hadrick. Hadrick was an indomitable wall there, and Audley bounced off him and went down.
So Audley Stewart is the quarterback, and just like we suspected, that Noristown team not getting a whole half off. They're going to have to do some work here in the third quarter. They probably will not be in there for long, but Coach Grove wanted to make sure this team hey, even though this game is a blowout right now, you guys still have to get some work in.
That's right. Hopefully we'll see Jamal Offord come back into the game, number 3 as a quarterback, but right now it's Stewart.
Pitch to Swittenberg. Swittenberg tries to get to the outside. Wissahickon tackler is trying to get to him. He breaks the tackle. 30, 25, 20. Nobody gonna catch him. Troy Swittenberg, 70 yards to the end zone. That's a nice start. 46-0.
It's unbelievable, Greg. He just seemed to slice his way through the defense, and from 40 yards on in, he had no one even in his path, and he just waltzed right in, flipped the ball backwards, and another 6 points for Troy Swittenberg.
The greatest sign of a running back, the fact that he can get to the outside. He had a lot of guys pursuing him. He broke through that hole, and as soon as he cut upfield, nobody was going to catch him.
I guess that's why he's one of the best running backs in the state of Pennsylvania right now, why this offense and this team is ranked 6th in the state, and why Roger Grove has a smile on his face right now.
Well, when we said Troy Swittenberg was under 100 yards, he's not anymore. The kick is blocked So the extra point is no good. 46-0, 10:40 left in the third quarter. Noristown jumping out to 2 quick touchdowns in the beginning of both halves.
And the only thing good about this for Wissahickon is they get the ball back, because otherwise it wouldn't happen, because offensively it's just dominating this game.
The blocking has been absolutely amazing, and the fact that Troyce Wittenberg had that easy of a run is just really a credit to everybody on this team, making sure they get out in front for number one. You know, Troyce Wittenberg, you know, will get that first team all-league. He'll get everything he'll get all the credit. But like we said, those guys up front, and it's that offensive line, we'll run it down for you. Jim Davis, Matt and Jim DePiero, Kirk Barry, and Jameel Butler doing a fine job. And of course, even wide receiving and Lou Samba, Brian Gordon, everybody who's come in has done a great job freeing up the offense, making sure this offense runs smoothly.
I'm looking over the results from week 2 of the Pennsylvania football schools and scores, and I see some blowouts here, like Upper Moreland beating Bristol 35-6, and Penn Ridge beating Upper Dublin 45-28, and I saw one further up here, 25-0 to Haverford over Sun Valley, and Glen Mills beat up Anacostia of DC for nothing. I think this score will definitely stand out on week 3 of the PA football scores, with a 46-0 tally right now.
Kick drives Queenan back to the 5. Queenan probably should have gone out of bounds. Not a smart decision to keep going, but he gets out to about the 24, trying to get something started. And as you said, we're looking at those week 2 results. There are some teams in the league, you know, who are 1-1. You look at Upper Moreland, who 2-0. Norristown will not play them this year, I don't believe. No, they are not on the schedule for Norristown. Souderton 1-1, beating Cheltenham. 2 teams right there who are pretty equal. And PW, who came off a tough loss against LaSalle in the first week, beating up on Quakertown 31-13. 2 teams that Norristown will play this year.
If Norristown plays like this, though, I think we're going to waltz right into district playoffs.
Bachta, the handoff up the middle. Nice little number in on that play. Sean Van Olinda trying to make the tackle.
Also in there for the Eagles, number 7, Lou Samba, playing both ways here tonight.
So pickup of about 3-4 on the play from Andy Black. That will bring up 2nd and 7. So the clock continues to run here at Roosevelt Field. Bachta, the quick handoff. Pretty much the only word for that is no.
Tackled right away by Jameel Butler, number 50 for the Eagles.
Quick handoff, delayed handoff, bootleg, 1-step drop, 3-step drop. He could drop back to the shore.
That's right.
They are not getting going.
He's not going to do anything. Butler was right there on the attack. Bachta with a quick handoff, but nothing there. And it'll be 1st and 10 after a face masking penalty by the Eagles. So the Eagles giving the Trojans an opportunity there, and they'll have another 4 downs to move the ball forward. And that's the only way that Wissahickon's been moving the ball forward, and that's on Eagle penalty.
So 1st down from the 42-yard line for Wissahickon. Single back, 3 receivers.
Bachta probably going to the air here.
Bachta back to pass. He's got some time. He'll look to the sideline. Ball is underthrown, looking for Sharif Queenan. And he won't get there.
Queenan was guarded there by Audley Stewart, Lou Samba, and Trey Hadrick. A trio of Eagles there on the defense. And the ball fell short. 2nd and 10 for Wissahickon. Clock continues to run, 7:30 left in the 3rd quarter. Once again, we want to remind you of the KYW Sports Show this Saturday at 9:30 in the morning. The featured athlete will be Troyce Wittenberg of the Norristown Eagles, and we hope that everybody turns into KYW CBS 3 for that show.
Bachta back to pass. Ooh, a tough hit over there on the right side. Terry Powell makes a great hit. Bogdo on the little screen dump-off pass. That didn't work, and they'll lose a couple of yards on that play. Now, in the offseason, PIAA, the Pennsylvania Athletic Association, the I always forget.
Interscholastic.
Interscholastic, that's the word I'm looking for.
That's what I'm here for, Greg.
Yes, you are here to tell me what the I in PIAA means. They have decided to expand how many teams from District 1 make it to playoffs. 1 is really known as one of the most competitive districts in all of Pennsylvania, and there's a couple of teams out west who really aren't in District 1, and, you know, they face them in the finals, but you never really get a chance to see those two teams play, and not a lot of people realize how good this district is. They've expanded to 7 teams in the playoffs. There are 37 Class 4A teams, and to get 7 teams in the playoffs now, that lets a team that, you know, maybe had a great season, but not as good as a team like Norristown into the playoffs. And last year, Norristown and Penridge both got in, but there was a worry at one point that Norristown wasn't going to get into the playoffs, because that would mean they'd have to be the 3rd team from Suburban 1 National to get in.
Yeah, and like you said, District 1 is probably one of the dominant districts in the state of Pennsylvania, and that's not just in football. That's the same as basketball and track and field and a lot of other sports.
So 4th and 5, Stout will kick. Edmonds and Stewart back once again. Low snap, Stout takes it. He gets a line drive kick. They will let it bounce. Edmonds very wisely backs away from the ball. So Norristown with their worst field position tonight, starting from the 10-yard line, probably won't affect them though.
Nope, it'll just be another play in the day of the Eagles.
But once again, as we were saying about District 1, 3 teams from Suburban 1 National made it last year to the district playoffs. Those were CB West, North Penn, and Norristown. Norristown and North Penn had a battle last year, and Norristown beat North Penn. And people thought that the winner of that game was going to make the playoffs, and the loser was going to be the unlucky loser and was going to go home without being able to make the playoffs. Both of those teams had great years, and they both deserved to make playoffs, and they did. Unfortunately, sometimes that doesn't happen if you get another team that has been played even better.
Yeah. Right now, Coach Grove going to the substitution as Jamal Alford is now the quarterback. We saw Stewart and Swittenberg both come off, and Orlando Brown takes the ball, and right away he's gang tackling a flock of Trojans there. Number 66 was Rick Smith, number 78 Doran Grebe, and number 5 Zach Rowe. But Brown picks up about 8 yards there, and it once again shows that Orlando Brown has his stuff if he gets the opportunity.
Is it a flock of Trojans or a herd of Trojans?
I'm not really sure what it is. I guess it would be a troop of Trojans, maybe.
That sounds good. We'll go with that. It's 5 for Norristown, or call it 3.
Botched defense here by Wissahickon. They're running all over the place. Alford hands off to Brown. Brown goes up the middle. He'll probably pick up the first down, plugging ahead for more yardage.
Nice job by Orlando Brown to pound ahead right there. And, of course, the clock will keep running. Quick third quarter here. We're down to 3.5 minutes left. Once again, Norristown up 46-0. If you joined us late, you missed a lot.
That's right. You definitely missed a lot with a lot of scoring and a balanced Swittenberg, Stewart, Hadrick, Preet, everybody getting in the action here for the home opener here at Roosevelt Field.
So Norristown 1st and 10 now from the 22, we'll call it. Backs in the eye for Norristown. One receiver out wide. Alford on the option play. He'll keep it. He'll break to the outside. He's got himself some room. We're going to have a flag back at the line of scrimmage. Alford, a great play right there, but I think that one might be coming back.
So, too, it was a 50-yard run, but it will probably come back. The flag was well back in the play. And I'll tell you what, Jamal Alford is a junior, 6 foot, 165 pounds, and he looks like a clone of Audley Stewart because he looked like he has the ability to run the ball just like Stewart and get out there and run for 50 yards.
So we'll bring that one back. Alford, a great run. It's pretty scary when your backup quarterback can come in and run 50 yards on an option play.
Yeah, Wissahickon's got to be scratching her head going, wait a second, I thought number 5 came out of the game, and here it is, number 3, Jamal Alford, doing it all over again. As our steady camera woman over there, Jocelyn Hadrick, doing a job. We want to thank the entire NASD TV staff, along with Athletic Director Joe Fabrizio for helping with tonight's game, making it a success. We want to thank all the fans for coming out. We see a lot of faculty here from Noristown Area High School supporting their students. And we see a lot of young people out here supporting their classmates as they open up here at Roosevelt Field.
The pitch to Orlando Brown, he may have gotten about 2 or 3 on the play. Wissahickon still with that defense in there, and it's a tough thing to get fired up on defense when you're down by 46 points. It's really tough to, say to yourself, wow, I really need to go out and make tackles.
Maybe what they were saying, let's keep them under 30 points. Now let's keep them under 40. Now maybe they're saying let's keep them under 50 because we got 50 seconds left in the third quarter. You've kept them just to 6 points here in the third quarter, which doesn't, it doesn't sound like that's too good, but when you score 40 in the first 2 quarters.
Reverse to Gray, excuse me. I thought he had some space out there, but a nice tackle.
It looked like he could break it open there and take it for another long run. But as it was, he took it for, it looks like it's going to be about 4 yards. It's going to be 3rd and 11. So Sheldon Gray getting some quality time here on the field as Orlando Brown is replaced by number 3, Jamal Alford. Alford, of course, the quarterback. Orlando Brown comes off after a couple plays on the field. And some fans are starting to file out as they see the end quarter come to a close, and with a 46-0 lead, you start warming up the car, make sure you get home. You probably had a tough ride from work last night because of Hurricane Floyd, and as we said, it was Hurricane Troy tonight. It's Hurricane Eagle would be the better word because the Eagles now lead 46-0.
The blue and white, of course, have put on a very impressive performance tonight. Noristown may come back with an impressive year this year. It's been a program that, has struggled in past years. And I can remember 2 or 3 years ago, there were fans here at Roosevelt Field who were thinking, wow, this team is having some problems, and this team's going to have a tough future ahead of them. Roger Grove and the coaching staff and the players have to give everybody a lot of credit. Everybody's worked very hard. 2 years ago, this was a less than 500 team that was struggling, had problems putting points on the board, and was beating teams that they honestly should have beat by 20 or 30 points. Now you're looking at this team, and you don't see a lot of weaknesses.
Definitely a new team, a new attitude, rejuvenated, and as a coach who's out at every single football practice, I hear it, I see it, I see the enthusiasm from the coaching staff and the players, and they've definitely turned it into a quality winning program here, one that made the playoffs last year and looking to make the playoffs again this year, definitely making a statement here in their new league with a 46-0 of the Wissahickon Trojans.
So it's 3rd and 7 for Noristown. Trying to get the spot right here. Or maybe not. Who knows what's going on? It appears that the officials are caving into the young season jitters here.
That's
They've
right.
had some problems tonight. Now we have the official spot. Looked like it was 3rd and 11, and should have trusted my instincts.
That's right. Alford remains in as quarterback. Number 19, Hakeem Jones, is in the backfield for Noristown.
Alford back to pass. An impressive throw right there, just through Ricky Preet's hands. We'll go to 4th down, and Noristown's going to have to do something they haven't done a lot tonight. Punt the ball. Good poise right there from Jamal Alford, though. He showed a lot of presence. He stepped back and sure that he stayed in that pocket, looked up, looking for his primary receiver, Preet. Just was unfortunate to have it slip through his hands. Hadrick will come on to punt the ball. Back is number 2, Walt Thompson for Wissahickon.
Hadrick will be punting from his own 14-yard line.
Wissahickon not appearing to be.
I'm sorry, that's his 9-yard line.
Wissahickon coming on the punt. Queenan does a nice job of stopping before he gets to Hadrick. Thompson calls for a fair catch. He will take it just on the other side of the 50. So Wissahickon will have good field position. Moral victory if they get points on the board right here before the end of this game.
That's true, and that was a 41-yard punt, no return. So pretty good for Noristown. Keeps Wissahickon honest. They're going to have to go 50 yards for a score here. And the clock continues to run with just over 11 minutes to go in this opening game here at Roosevelt Field.
That would mean they'd have down, and that is something that they have had a lot of trouble doing tonight. So we have two backs in the backfield. Bronson is one of them, or Brosnan, excuse me. I keep getting his name mixed up, and maybe it's because this game is just getting out of hand. Ball goes to him. He'll run up the middle for about 3 or 4 yards. Tackled by a swarm of Eagles defenders.
Pickup of Brosnan. Bring up a 2nd and 9, short 2nd and 9. And Brosnan will head to the sidelines. Looks like it's going to be official timeout for an injury. We're a talk here with Coach Tim Miller by the officials. Brosnan has to come out for one play, it looks like. They're going to bring in number 10, John Manzer to run into play for Wissahickon. And now we're going to have a timeout for Wissahickon. And that will stop the clock with just over 10 minutes to go in the game. Manzer will come in with the play, and so will Tim Miller to come in and talk to his troops. Looking ahead on the football schedule for Noristown, of course, they go to Quakertown next week, September 4th, a 7:30 start. And Cheltenham on October 2nd with a 1 o'clock start. And then back here home against Penn Ridge, 7:30 start on October 2nd. And they were the team that they faced in the playoffs last year. And of course, October 16th at Methacton with a 1 o'clock start, the neighborhood rivalry game that we're dubbing it. All pointing towards that November 25th Thanksgiving game with Plymouth Whitemarsh with a 10 a.m. start. Joe Yakovins, counselor from Noristown, will take on his school in what hopes to be a great football contest.
And if all goes right for Noristown, they have 2 games that they could miss this year. The Upper Marion game, if they make it through a round of the playoffs, that game will be canceled because they will be in the playoffs, that game not meaning anything. And of course, that Thanksgiving game, which was played last year after Noristown lost in the district finals.
That's right.
However, depending on scheduling and dates and has enough time to prepare for PW, that game may be canceled too.
That's one of those things that I'm sorry to see go, is those Thanksgiving Day football games, because growing up and as we're getting away from the play here, that's number 30, Alan Grantham, who sacks Botka, and it's going to be a loss of about 7. As we get back to our conversation, that was one thing growing up. I used to remember Thanksgiving Day football games, high school football games. We're getting away from that with this new district football format. Brosnan re-enters the game. Manzer goes out.
While we have a little bit of time, I want to try and get some of those Norristown players who are in. Jamal Alford, Alan Grantham is 30, number 35, John Ivins, 42 is Julian Ray, 53 is Donovan Palmer, 66 is Dan Gant, 73 is Tony Buchanan, 87 is Derek Hodo. We'll get some of those guys after this play. Good throw outside by Satan Bakhta. Finally, a completion to Sharif Queenan. They are short of the first down.
That's his first completion of the second half, and only his 5th in the game, and he's tried 12 times.
That man is having a tough game.
That's right, and I'm sure he'll go back and look at the tape again, and he'll relive this all over again as a 6'1" senior has tried his darndest to penetrate this Norristown defense, and he's doing a job right now, but with a 4th and 4, 4th and 5 right now, he's looking in the face of another swarming defense, another aggressive defensive push here for the Eagles.
Bakta back to pass, quick drop, and he is smacked by number 73.
Tony Buchanan. And he was on top of Bakta before Bakta even could get the ball back to throw it, and it's a turnover, another turnover here for the Trojans. Noristown will take over on downs.
I'm speechless. That was a pretty nice hit for number 73, Tony Buchanan, coming through there. Then the Noristown offense will come onto the field once again.